Yagnasishta amrita bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam Nayam lokostya yajnasya kutonya kurusattama. After performing all these various sacrifices, dravya yajna with materials, with the pranayam, all types of sacrifices that have been kind of spoken about. And what happens is, we are used to having this idea of prasad. This is the prasad. What is prasad? That food which has been offered to the deity. The deity partakes of it, and the remnant is taken by us, and we say, oh, this is now prasad. Okay, this is the idea. The remaining portion of it. So in the old days also, when you perform fire sacrifices, you keep on pouring oblations, and there's a remnant of that oblations which is still in the vessel. That is taken and used as food. In the old days in India, it was like that. You eat only after you have worshipped. As simple as that. Now if you don't worship, well, they say you eat sin. It's simple as that. So even if you don't have the opportunity to offer, mentally you can offer it to the Lord. That's the idea. So yagna sishta amrita bhujo. Bhuja is to eat. Yagna sishta, the remaining or the remainder of the food left after the sacrifice is over. Okay. And what is that? It's translated as nectar, ambrosia, or it's like food of the gods. Or better still, that which the gods have partaken a little portion of it, and now it has become divine. So that food is now going to nourish not only your physical body, your spiritual body also. And for sadhakas, that is spiritual aspirants, it is absolutely necessary that the person, the sadhaka, the spiritual aspirant will eat only that which has been offered to the Lord. If you don't have a deity in the front, or you can offer it mentally, what we do as Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahma Agno. Here, the idea is, this is a tangible form of sacrifice. Now, if you internalize it, like even there are some who are doing pranayama. They offer the prana in the apana, the inhalation in the exhalation, and the exhalation in the inhalation. So what about all these things? These are kind of mental act, physical, but then there is no particular deity there. Yes, you can externally, you have a commentary on the Svetashvatara Upanishad by Shankaracharya, who says, after worshipping the deity, Ganesha and or others, a person should start practicing pranayama. Okay. The other form is, when you inhale, you merge it in that deity which is there in your heart. And then you exhale. Okay. So what happens, that still stoppage of breath called a kumbhaka has got the deity there. Got this idea? This whole thing is now externalized. From the outside, it has become inside. So whatever you do is a form of a sacrifice. And this, I'm not tired of repeating over and over again, that this idea of sacrifice is central to every religion. If you don't sacrifice, well, you don't get anything. You've seen it in ordinary life also. If you don't sacrifice anything, you don't get anything. Life is actually oriented or made for sacrifice. Simple as that. So every act, every thought, every word can be a sacrifice. Sacrifice for what? Sacrifice for the higher self. Sacrifice for God. Sacrifice for others. Sacrifice for the whole world. Swami Vivekananda, in one of his letters, is saying, sacrifice in the past has been the law, and it will be, alas, for ages to come. The earth's best and bravest will have to sacrifice for the good of the many. Let Buddhas rise by the hundreds with eternal love and compassion. Now here we have this idea that this is sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice, you're not going to rise. Simple as that. You will be tied down, anchored with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, you can say bondages. It is only through sacrifice. You take any person, successful person, just for argument's sake. What do we see behind that success? The tremendous idea of work, the sacrifice. Otherwise, it's simply not possible. And this idea of work, the sacrifice, it has actually configured that person's personality and everything. The idea of sacrifice. I had mentioned that the gods even commenced this creation through sacrifices. So sacrifice has been the law, is the law, and will be the law. And this has intuitively been understood by every religion. Every religion understands sacrifice. Whether it's Christianity or Islam or you can say Judaism, Buddhism, anyway, you have to sacrifice. So this sacrifice, it's a great life. A life without sacrifice is, here it says, this world ceases for one who does not perform sacrifices. This world does not exist for that person. That person is dead. A person who does not sacrifice is a living dead. Swami Vivekananda says, they only live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. So you see people, they are moving around alive, but they are dead inside. There's only me, only me. This is my entitlement, this is for me, this is for me. We have not even opened our eyes to the world around, that there's a huge world of living entities, and we need to combine with them, intersect with them. And that can only happen when the person can sacrifice. So this sacrifice, you take anything, any success, it has to be based on sacrifice. If there is no sacrifice, there is no spirituality. Forget spirituality, there is nothing. It's all darkness. So that's why he's saying, Yajna Sishta Amrita Bhujo. One who partakes of the remnants of the food after a sacrifice. What is he saying? Yanti, they go, they attain the eternal Brahma. Brahma Sanatanam. Yes, they attain. See, it's a tremendous statement. Those who sacrifice will attain eternal, you can say, truth, or they will attain reality. Brahma Sanatanam. Sanatana is to the eternal Brahman. Those who sacrifice. But there is a slight catch here. The catch is one must have the desire for liberation. Only then can you attain that eternal Brahman. Okay. There are some who will say, I'd like to go to this heaven, All their life they have scoffed at the idea of heavens and hells. But when the crunch comes, the time comes, then they look around. Oh, maybe those things are probably existing. So let's go up there. So, those who have led a perfect life, a life of sacrifice. To even be good, you've got to sacrifice. Just to lead an ethical life, you've got to sacrifice so much. When you go out and work, you have to give up your selfishness and your ego and your peculiarities and your stupidity and your idiosyncrasies. Yeah, leave it off and then go out in the field of work and do some work. And as we have seen, the work that you do, the more powerful it is, the more unselfish it is, the more it impacts the world. Where I can't see any kind of impact happening to the world. Oh yes, this world is a world of karma. This entire world, everything that you see is a product of the will of the person. This thing never existed, let's build it like this. This thing never existed. Everything it's a power of the will on the materials around and be modified. This is the world of work. Everything. The cities and ships and Swami the men of war and this, everything. It's all work. And at the crest of this world of work stands the person who sacrifices. Here, we have madmen also around. Okay. We remember them but negatively. No? Okay. There are some persons quietly, the real world movers, they are doing work silently. These are the ones who are the sacrifices. So for them, this world exists and also the other worlds exist. But for one who does not perform a sacrifice, it's all darkness. Andam tama pravishanti. They enter into blinding darkness. My God, what's that? Yeah. This person never did anything for anybody. Kind of a circumscribed life. A person has not felt love or compassion or you can say empathy or anything. The person has only learned to hate and be cruel. Well, you get your just rewards. As you sow, so shall you reap. This is the idea. So the verse of the Gita is very clear. Those who partake of the nectar left over after a sacrifice reach the eternal Brahman. Now, in Vedanta, there are three types of liberation. Sadhya Mukti, that is liberation here, right now. You are liberated. It's called a living free, Jivan Mukta. There is the second, Videha Mukta, that is when the body falls. Okay. That is it. And then the third is Krama, that is gradual liberation. Okay. You go from this plane of existence to a superior plane of existence, higher plane of existence, and to a higher and a higher and a higher. More subtle and subtle and subtle and subtler, it goes higher and higher till we come to the very end of relative existence, that is Brahma Loka. We had seen that truth there is experienced as light and shade. Chaya tapo Brahma Loke. So it is like this. You can see it clearly. And then you merge in that Brahman. Okay. So that's a gradual liberation. Most people go through this. Very few people get that. Of course, they don't put that kind of effort. they don't put those kind of sacrifices. You put sacrifices? Oh yeah. And then, like yesterday we were saying, it starts a spiral, a positive loop. You start, and then you get a reaction. You act, and there's a reaction, and it's action and reaction, action and reaction. It's a loop formed, and now you can get out of this idea of sacrifice. Your very bones will make you sacrifice. Yeah, when you see people around, you'll see them as, you'll see them clearly. Right now, we don't see people clearly. We've got all these veils around us. Oh yes, we are blundering fools in this world. We hardly are aware of our surroundings. We are hardly aware of life around. We are hardly aware of people's emotion, except when they are related to me. That person looks angry. Oh, I'll avoid that person. You will understand life in its fullest when you start sacrificing. And sacrificing for others. But others, relatively speaking, you're doing your sacrifices to your deity, to your God. If you do it, it goes everywhere. There's a long digression, so I don't want to go there. I'll just mention it in passing. A person who starts sacrificing, he's got into the loop of sacrifices. He sacrifices time, energy, his name and fame, his creature comforts, his sleep and everything. He's doing something for the others. So, what happens is, this person becomes a kind of a spiritual powerhouse. And that person draws in all the good deeds that are happening around. Oh yes, that's a spiritual law. Like today, we are the resultant of all the past that we have gone through. We've lived many lives, and today we are the resultant of all those things that we have done. From the standpoint of your body, the body also is a result of millions of years of evolution. There is that physical memory here. And where the mind is concerned, there are a million years of memories. You're not old, you're not young. When a child is born, oh, so sweet, so nice. We kind of smirk sometimes. But guys, we've been coming and going many, many, many times. So we have a genetic memory, we have a karmic memory. Today, what we are right now is a resultant of all that we have said and done and thought. Yes, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Now, what do we do? Yeah, now what do? You start getting out of this all your physical and mental memories. And that can be done only through coming out of that genetic system of yours. This genetic system has become a kind of bondage. When you can suppress all those memories, you rise above the body. When you can suppress all the memories in the mind, you rise above the mind. And that can be accomplished only by sacrifice. As you keep on sacrificing to the gods, gradually, your inner divinity is awakened. It's not a kind of a tomfoolery. Oh, you do it, it's good for you. Why? Tell me why. Yeah, it will awaken that divinity. And we are essentially divine beings. We've forgotten our divine nature. Yeah. We've forgotten it so badly. We are thinking we are human beings now. That is the greatest, they say, Maya. We are divine beings, we are thinking we are human beings. Sacrifice is the key for you to unlock that kind of knowledge. So this is how the commentator gives a, you can say, quotation from one of the Upanishads, Raikva, that all actions kind of, merge into the one who knows the self. Swami Vivekananda also in one point he says, to produce one spiritual giant, that person as it were sucks all that energy that's around. Yeah, But then he says, Swami Vivekananda said, it needn't be like that. There has to be a kind of another part of the story. And that spiritual giant goes out and gives back to the people what he had taken in a more refined way. He had taken everything from them. It's like, if there's a billionaire, all those guys around will be all poor, Yeah, limited resources, that person has pulled everything up. There you go. But if that billionaire now suddenly decides, I've got to be charitable, I've got to raise the pay of this guy, that guy, okay, fine. That person really becomes happy. It's only through sacrifices that one can be happy in this world. Nothing else. People say, miserable, suffering. Yes. Start doing this. Who stopped you from doing this? Well, your own selfishness stopped you. Well, if you have known this, then you come out of that shell. So this world can become a heaven. You can make it a heaven through sacrifices. It's only that I and me and my has cut at the roots of our very being. That's why I say, this world ceases to exist for one who does not perform sacrifices. What to speak of the other worlds? The other worlds are kind of higher worlds, higher levels of existence. Yes. Oh, best of the Kurus, that's Arjuna. The next verse is 32. Evam bahuvida yajna vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan viditan sarvan evam jnatva vimokshase. Thus, various kinds of sacrifices lie spread at the mouth of the Vedas. Know them all to be born of action. Knowing thus, you will become liberated. As simple as that. So here it is. So in your books, many such forms of sacrifice have been set forth and detailed in the Vedas. Know them all as involving the actions of mind, senses and body. Thus, knowing the truth about them, you shall be freed from the bondage of action through their performance. It's a kind of a little wordy kind of to Evam bahuvida yajna. The many sacrifices. Bahuvida, various kinds of sacrifices as were enumerated from the chapter 4, verse 24. We are now on 32. So all the various sacrifices, they are kind of diverse sacrifices. They are what? Lie spread at the mouth of the Vedas. Lie spread means like it's not really spread. The technical word is spread. They can be known through the Vedas. Now, what is the Vedas? The Vedas have two sections, main sections. One is the work portion and the knowledge portion. The work portion has all these various sacrifices, this sacrifice to this god and this god, and these are the hymns, and this is the ritual, this is the rules, and this, the whole thing is the karma kand. And they have the second part of the Vedas that's called the knowledge portion, where mainly all the Upanishads come. So all these various sacrifices lie spread, as it were, at the mouth of the Vedas. So spread means elaborated. So it's like, it's just a figure of speech, lie spread at mouth of the Vedas. The Vedas actually are kind of, I was telling somebody the other day, the Vedas are primarily the knowledge. Veda means knowledge. Whose knowledge? Knowledge of God. It's just that. Okay. So God and knowledge are not separate. Okay. And there's another factor, creation. So we have God and we have creation, the creator, creation, and God is no fool. So we say, like Swami Vivekananda, he quotes John Stuart Mill saying, this world is the devil's place. I could have created a better world. And Sri Ramakrishna said, how much of the world do you know that you can say such a thing? So Swami Vivekananda kept quiet. Oh, this is a very, very intricate creation. Very, very intricate creation. And we see creation only from the human standpoint. There are so many beings that we are not even bothered. They don't come into our consciousness. Except when an ant bites my leg, oh, that's an ant, and I kill it. Why did I kill it? There was no need to kill it, but I killed it because it. So that's the only time it comes into my. It is because it's hurting me. So this knowledge, and that's the reason why the Vedas, they say, if you study anything, it will give you the knowledge of the whole. You study any part, take a snowflake, take a grain of sand, take a dewdrop, take a leaf, take anything, take an atom, study it. You will see it emerging into the entirety. Like the Upanishads say, if you know one lump of clay, you know all the clay in the universe. Hidden within each particular aspect of creation is the general idea of the creator. We miss out on these things. So, like you know one thing, you know everything. Is that? Yes. But you really need to know that thing. Yata somya ekena mritpindena sarvan mrinmay vijnanam syat. So everything is known if you know one. So the knowledge of the whole and the knowledge of the parts are linked. So you push that knowledge further and further, you will attain God through that knowledge. Okay, so that is now. What are this knowledge? This knowledge, is it created by God? No. In fact, even the Creator uses this knowledge to create this universe. So the whole creation has emerged from knowledge, has emerged from the Vedas. So that's the mind of God. So through that mind, God has created. So everything is an aspect of the Vedas. So then, secondarily, it is called the various books, the Four Vedas and all that. The Rig Veda and Yajur Veda and Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. The Rig Veda is the oldest, you can say, literary composition of humankind. While people are building in stone and this and that, big monuments. Those rishis there, those sages, they were composing these spiritual hymns, trying to discover the secrets of nature. And that is what is called Vedas. So the Vedas has enumerated various types of sacrifices. And when you sacrifice, what happens is you get knowledge. You realize the more selfish you are, the more blinded you become, the more ignorant you are. The more you open yourself up, you're opening yourself to knowledge. So the sacrifice and knowledge are always linked, invariably linked. So there you are. So they lie spread near the Vedas because the Vedas have sanctioned them. But the next line of the verse says, know them all to be born of action. Knowing thus, you will become liberated. Now, here we are, this idea, all of this, because you are now sacrificing, taking this trouble with either with your body or your mind or your speech, all these things. These are the three factors that are involved in any sacrifice: the body, mind, and speech. So, the body is a result of karma. Oh yes. The mind is also a result of a karma, your karma. It's all your karma, your doing. The world is not to be blamed, nothing for anything. You are to be blamed for what you are. And speech also is not a karma. So what about the self, the action? It's actionless. Once you know the difference between karma and non-karma, the actionless self and the self, here the body, mind and senses, etc., as performing action. If you know the distinction between the two, you will be free. That's what the whole thing is. How is the freedom? It's immediate. You know the clear distinction between what is real and what is apparent. Shri Ramakrishna gives an example of a coconut, And coconut is dry, You shake this in, and the flesh in the inside the shell has become detached. You can hear that sound, it rattling inside. When the coconut is tender, you shake it, you will just hear the sound of water. All that kind of. So slowly the water is absorbed, becomes flesh, and then it detaches from the shell inside, and you will understand that the soul is separate from the body and the mind and the senses. And their individual soul is beyond action. There is no action at all. Once you know it, knowing thus, you will become liberated. This knowledge will give. So this external knowledge is there, and then there is something called internal knowledge. And as we keep on growing and growing, how do you grow in your internal knowledge? Going inside. You keep on going inside, deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And where do you end up? You end up at the center of the universe. Yeah. There are many people, they look out from the earth, and they see earth is the center of the universe. It appears like that. If you go to Mars will appear the center of the universe. If you go to Jupiter will appear the center. So where's the center? Centers are everywhere. There's no center at all. This is the universe. From our point of view, I'm at the center. I'm the center of this world. Everything is for me. You see, this everything. Come here. And you'll find, as you go down deep inside, your soul is, as it were, the center of this universe. You go into the heart of the universe. You plunge in. Once you know the secret, you will become free. That's what. Thus, various kinds of sacrifices lie spread at the mouth of the Vedas, knowing them all to be born of action. Knowing thus, you will become liberated. So this is liberation. The previous verse was a kind of a gradual liberation, krama mukti. This is immediate liberation. The more does when does it happen? It can happen anytime. When you know the distinction between the self and the non-self, the appearance. So much for that. So how do you know it? Well, like I said, it has to be, it's a process, and as you keep on sacrificing, you get better and better and better. You might appear the same like what you do appear now, but your heart has become so large, it has embraced the whole universe. Yes, all these great prophets and sages, they were not kind of ordinary. They looked like us. But how they intuited, not only intuited, they realized that all-pervading reality was there. This whole thing was, you can say, the body is limited, but the mind is, as it were, unlimited. It can reach out to every. A person may be in a kind of a prison, the body is imprisoned, but you cannot imprison the mind. That person is free to think of anything. So that person becomes vaster and vaster and vaster and vaster. This is actually your real self, not your physical body. So this real person is the mind, the personality. So Brahmano Mukhe, know them to you all be born. The next one, we still have a little time. We'll read this and then we'll do the explanation extensively next Thursday. Shreyan dravyamayad yajnat jnana yajna parantapa sarvam karma kilam partha jnane parisamapyate. This is one of my favorite, you can say, line. All actions in their totality, O Arjuna, ends in knowledge. Sarvam karma akhilam partha jnani parisam. So he's saying, greater than sacrifices done with materials is a sacrifice done with knowledge. Jnana yajna. Why? Because you have now become, independent of external factors. Now your only support, your only center of gravity is your own self, the Atman. We have been clinging on to these things. And, you extend your arm out. We are like beggars. No, please give me, please give me, please give me. And the world will give you what you want, put in the opener, and it will hold your wrist. And it will keep on pulling you out. Whenever you want something, the world will give it to you after a while. They will make you weep and cry and dance and sing a little. And then it has caught you. Yeah. And then you come now. You beggar, what do you expect? Anything more than this? Come. Be my slave now. And that's what the world gives. The moment you can detach it, I don't want anything. I am self-fulfilled. That's why the word used is Purna Kamo Aham. My desires have been complete because my desires are spiritual desires. So here, what happened? You become your own master. And the word Swami, we have a Swami Satyamayananda, whatever, all these various, it means that you are your own master. So this is what. So, and another explanation is, after being engaged with all these various sacrifices, you have learned now to internalize those sacrifices, which is a higher stage. It's obviously that the first part of the Vedas I had said was sacrifices, the various sacrifices and all the rules and regulations. Then what happens, there are some guys, lazy guys, or too intelligent guys. Why do you have to bother about taking this trouble of performing this sacrifice? Some sacrifices you should take the whole day, sometimes months. There are some sacrifices that went on for years. Oh my God. Oh. So they were the intelligent ones. Let's internalize the sacrifices. Now what is there? Let's conceptualize. There's a fire outside, let's put a fire inside. There is the act of pouring in oblation, let this also be an act of pouring oblations. So gradually, as they internalize these ideas higher and higher and higher, aspects of that sacrifice were revealed to them. So this is the first stage. You start doing all these sacrifices, you internalize it. So it that becomes sacrifice knowledge. Revealed so to knowledge them. Is always higher. So this is the first stage. You start doing all these sacrifices. You internalize it. So that becomes but the mind is so weak. Knowledge. It cannot just think of the Atman as there are sacrifices. We need support. We need to get into the first kindergarten. And don't stay there, please. There are some people who like to stay there all their life. They have grown up. There's Swami Vivekananda says, mustachioed babies. They have grown up, but they are still babies. You've got to keep on graduating higher and higher and higher. So people take the support of this and they're saying, this helped me so much in my times of need. I'm not going to give it up. Give it up. If you don't give this up, you're not going to grow. This is the idea. And you go, as you keep on growing higher and higher and higher, the higher aspects within you start revealing. So, saying the knowledge sacrifice, Shreyan Dravyamaya Yajna Jnana Yajna Parantapa. So, knowledge sacrifice is higher than sacrifices performed with materials. All work in its entirety or totality ends in knowledge. Well, that's what the whole thing is, this knowledge. Everything you have done in life, anything, has given you some experience, either good or bad. That experience is the knowledge, the form of knowledge. But now all our experiences are conditioned by name and form. Objects, or sense objects, and the senses, and the mind. This is our experience. So we are caught up in that. We know if you leave us alone, we can give the highest, you can say, discourse on Brahman. You know what's the reality? Yeah. We keep on telling the person. Guy, but that thing is not in that person's experience. It's second-hand knowledge. So second-hand knowledge is not considered knowledge at all. So your first-hand experiences, you have gone through many experiences, good or bad or neutral. You have grown. Actually, you grow through this knowledge. Always. So all actions lead to experiences, and experiences lead to knowledge. So all karma leads one to knowledge. So as you keep on going deeper and deeper and deeper inside, what you will find is higher aspects of your own self. It's like layers and layers and layers and layers. The sediment has piled up, over and over again. So you cut through them and then you go higher and higher. And you will find, then as you are actually in the process of rediscovering yourself. You have your internal experiences and you know. Suppose somebody says, there is no such thing as Australia, down under. They show them the map and say, Oh, that could be a kind of fake news, fake map. Nowadays it's kind of a fake. There's no such thing. If you go, yeah, but I have gone to Australia and I have returned. I have seen Australia. Now this is first-hand experience. This is what it is. So these sages and saints, they have been telling us, we have experienced the self. Well, if you say, oh, that's fake news, fake information, that's not going to work. We'll have to take the help of that person's experiences and proceed. And as we keep on proceeding slowly, we will make that person's experience our own. And when we can do that, you will see that your experiences will tally with what has been mentioned in the scriptures. And this is important. You just say, like Swami Vivekananda says, if a person comes and says, I've seen angels moving, flying about. I have seen them, you cannot see them. Oh, that won't do. Anybody will come and anybody can claim something, some foreign knowledge, which is not, it's only secret knowledge, not you don't know, only I know. That's no knowledge at all. Be careful of such people. Your experiences will have to tally with what has been experienced by the sages and saints for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So this whole idea of Vedanta is an experience, and which can be replicated in you. You are not the first one. There have been millions and millions of people who have experienced that Brahman and become liberated. And the whole process of life is this. What's the goal of life? The goal of life is to see God. Sri Ramakrishna says, what's the goal of life? Does life have a goal? Yeah, unfortunately for you. The goal of life is to see God. Nobody told people. Yeah, nobody told. You weren't listening also when it was told. They realize God. Oh, the moment you understand this simple fact, you'll reorient your life towards that. And if you don't, you'll get burnt. You get beaten, you get kicked, you get you have this soccer, football. Everybody is the poor ball is being kicked around. So the moment you orient yourself to the reality, to God, you come out of this network of bondage that you have created. You come out of it. So we'll stop here and we'll take 34th verse next Thursday, and we'll discuss a little of the 33 also. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.
Oh.